We're live.
I love how Zoom gives the warnings now. This is being recorded and live streamed.
That's good. What's going on, guys? It's been a long time since three of us have been together on the call.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm tired of Manny telling me what I'm not doing that I should be doing. So
Today won't be that day. Today, John will tell you what it is that we shouldn't be doing.
Want to bet? Oh, John will do it. I see what it is.
We take shifts, you know.
Hang on, let me assume the fetal position on the floor.
No more eyeliners, Chuck.
Yeah. No putting more makeup on?
Mm-mm.
I decided I wasn't qualified for that kind of thing. So
you tried. You failed. Back to.
Well, no, I didn't try. I was just giving John a bad time. Anyway, so what's new, John? I mean, it's been what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, well,
probably been a month. Yeah.
Something like that. My TikTok account, I got banned yesterday.
Woo!
Yeah, and I had 200,000 followers on there. I was getting videos with like 3 million views. So I was growing.
How'd you get banned?
Repeated community guidelines violations, right? So, but here's the funny thing about it, right? So people that didn't like my videos were flagging them, right? And then they get, a violation, and then I would appeal it, and I would win the appeal. Like I had maybe 6 or 7 of them, and I won all the appeals, right? Except for maybe like a couple of them. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they ban-hammered me. So yeah, people don't like your opinion on TikTok. They
well, here's a lot of different things going on in my mind. Like on the one side, I'm thinking, okay, well, shit, you get banned on one platform, so it's important to be robust, have an email marketing system going, which you already do.
Yeah.
So that's something we always talk about, right? Don't put all your eggs in one social media basket, because they will whoop your, what, and then you don't have anything left at that point. But yeah.
But I was gonna say, the good news is that I've, the same videos I've been doing for TikTok, I've been dropping on Instagram Reels, and then also on YouTube for shorts. And the Instagram is blowing up, not quite as fast as TikTok, but I'm getting about 10,000 new followers per month on Instagram. So so that's good. So I think that'll be like one of the, probably a bigger traffic source. I'm trying to figure out how to monetize Instagram now, and I'm making some actual headway in that. I had a reel come out like yesterday or the day before, where I basically pitched like, are you an alpha or a simp? Take this quiz to find out. And then I said, go to bulldogmindset.com, and then obviously there's a pop-up there. And so I got about 40,000 views on that Instagram reel, because most of my Instagram reels are doing that. So I looked at my email list signups, and in 2 days I got like 2,500 new email subscribers that signed up and took the quiz. So that's going to be huge as they go through that funnel. If 5% of those guys convert, that'll be somewhere close to 75 to 100 new members. So, if I'm continuing to get Instagram followings and I'm doing stories and stuff like that, then that'll be a bigger traffic source, like for membership. So that's good. So that will work out. YouTube, I seem to be blacklisted on YouTube. I can't grow the YouTube channel with anything. So they must have flagged me somehow, like shadow banned me on there, because I can't get a video that gets more than like 2,000 or 3,000 views anymore. So,
So this is my beef with social media platforms now, right? Exactly what you're going through, like random ass, all of that shit. Like, okay, it could happen to you even if you're running paid ads. You could get banned from a platform. But the big difference is this, that when you're getting banned from a content platform, you spend a lot of time and energy building that platform, and now you're gone. Like not banned, but like even if it's not working anymore, like YouTube, John's got 280,000 subscribers, and suddenly you're only getting 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 views of videos. Suddenly everything is like, what the fuck, right? And TikTok banning or whatever TikTok is doing, it's like, all the work. Yeah, I get it. Like TikTok, it wasn't just TikTok, it was also used on Instagram. But again, there was work involved with growing that platform. There was work involved in growing the YouTube channel, all those things. But we're like at the mercy of these things, in the sense, when you doing a content platform, you're building it as a compounded interest platform. In the sense, the hope is that in the long term, you will be able to get value from it, right? It's a compound interest platform. But advertising is different that way, right? The difference is with advertising, you get in there, you spend the money, you make the money. And if you do get banned, that's fine. But you're basically spending money to make money. It's not like you're accumulating compounded interest of your effort over time. You're spending money to make money every single day. Some days you spend $10,000, some day you spend $500 or $100, depending on, what was going on or what's been building up. So that way, like the content game by itself, as good as it is and as robust as it can be, it's also very, like somewhat dangerous because of shit like this, right?
Right.
And now with Apple's new iOS 15 updates coming, which will basically allow people to put in random email addresses that you cannot follow up with, that's going to be a whole new nightmare. Now, email marketing is going to take a big hit too. So and we won't be able to know the email open rates, and because Apple will deactivate the pixel firing, all that shit is happening in Apple. Apple's pulling that shit out, right? So it's like, as good as organic is and as good as content platforms are, I think pay to play is still the biggest dog in terms of marketing. And the sooner we learn that skill, the good thing about pay to play is like it's something you just do, whichever platform it is, you can figure out. If you figure out one, you figure out the next, and you figure out the next. It's not compounded interest where with YouTube, if you build a million subscriber channel and it's gone, there's nothing left. Like you got zero return at the end of it.
Yeah.
But if you spend $1 million on Facebook and you made your 2 million back, and now Facebook takes you out, that's cool.
Yeah.
You took your money back. It's not like you put your money in a bank account and suddenly Facebook's like, oh, sorry, we're not giving you that money.
Right.
So a content channel is like you're putting money in a bank account with all the effort and energy and time and energy you're putting into it. It's a bank account. It's growing. And suddenly they're like, oh, sorry, account is locked. Your PayPal account is locked, or your bank account is locked, and there's no more money to be withdrawn from this account anymore, right? But with advertising, every day you're making money back. Or maybe like a 7-day cycle or a 15-day cycle, right? So you're making money back every single day for the amount of energy and effort you're putting in. Every time you're making money back. So in some ways, it is a far superior far superior play for bigger scale because of that, because of the stupidity that we get held hostage by these platforms like that. Now, I'm not disputing the fact that you can get banned from any of these platforms from even advertising. That's going to happen. It can totally happen. But you never had built a large bank account where you made deposits, and suddenly one day they've locked your account forever. That's not happening on any advertising platform. You're making your money back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
Well, I can kind of see though, like if you have a channel or you build a channel on YouTube or wherever, right? And while it's working, you should be getting some traffic back. You should be able to generate some sales. I don't think it's a net zero, but yeah, I mean, a lot of this depends on your ability to market through that channel versus the other channel. And you're right. I mean, you have to invest in a certain amount of reach, whereas with the paid channels, you're paying for that reach, and so you get there faster. I don't think it's worth writing off. I think it's just, yeah, I think there's going to be some element, and there are certain elements of what John talks about that make people uncomfortable or worse. And I part of me just doesn't understand why you're just like, you know what, just block. I don't want to see any more Bulldog mindset stuff. It's offensive, and then just call it a day, right? But go report.
I think they want
to
keep the integrity of the platform, right? So instead of like people having to go and ban or unfollow people and all that stuff, if they feel like the users are complaining, they feel like the user experience is not as good, and it's not because John's content is not good. It's very polarizing, so it's going to polarize, and that means if it's polarizing, there are going to be haters. And if you get polarized, like that's the unfortunate game, right? Polarizing content wins, but polarizing content can get you down the path of people doing shit like this, right? Where they're going to complain about you or like flag you, and then you get in trouble. But to your point, you're right. Like, yes, you will make money along the way or when you're growing a channel or anything like that. But it's like, you're starting to make investments into, it's like you bought real estate. You're getting your rent. You're getting your rent checks. You're getting your rent checks. But suddenly one day it's like, oh, sorry, this house doesn't belong to you anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
A tornado came in and took it out. There's nothing left there to rent.
Yeah.
But
this house.
It's more like you bought the house. Like it's more like you bought a piece of land, right? And then you built the house slowly over time,
right,
on that land. Yeah. And then they're like, "Yeah, we're not going to rent you that land anymore. Like you can't have that land anymore." So you take your house.
They gave you the land for free, right?
Right.
It's like Monopoly. They gave you the land for free, and you started building houses, and you started building hotels, and you built a castle, and you built a nice like city, and suddenly they're like, "Oh, the city is not yours anymore." So you're like, "All right, like you gave me free land, I built a city, and now you're taking the city away from me." Nice.
Yeah. But
so I made some money while the city was being built, but the whole purpose of building a city was that I could actually have money coming from it when the city had 250,000 people living in it, not when the city had like 5,000 people living in it,
Yeah.
So
the point is, I guess what I'm asking is, what do you do now? I mean, can you fight it, or are you just kind of out of luck, hoping Instagram doesn't ban you too?
Well, Instagram's not going to ban me. They don't really ban people unless it's really bad. I've never had anything even flagged on Instagram, but my TikTok guy he's got some connections, so he'll try and whatever. If not, then I'll just have to create a new TikTok account like a lot of people do, and then start over with the TikTok. But I'll gain followers fast. Like I have popularity. Right. I mean, I walk down the street now and people are like, "Oh, you're that guy from TikTok." So
that's awesome.
The brand marketing has worked pretty effectively, which was weird because normally it's YouTube, but that's a TikTok, because I actually reach probably more people with TikTok, just because it's millions. But yeah, but I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, my overall strategy is kind of shifting anyway, just like what Manny said. I mean, one of the things I'm working on right now is using Amazon advertising through books. So I've got a book that Self-Confidence for Men book, and that's a lead magnet, funnel into there. And people who come in through a book are actually the highest converting people. So basically I hired this ad manager for Amazon ads, and he's running ads for all of my books, for Simple Programmer and for the Bulldog stuff. And so I'm paying him like $500 a month, and my ad spend, target ad spend is $2,000 a month. So he says that we can get a profitable ad spend, pretty much guaranteed on that. And so even if I told him, I'm fine breaking even on it, but a little bit of profit doesn't, because I'm not looking to make money on the front end on the books. It's on the back end. Plus, then it'll make the rankings go up with all those sales. So if that strategy works, then what I'm going to do as a next step is just start creating more of these small targeted, very pain specific books and continue to promote them. And then I have like a repeatable system of very, very high quality leads. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Obviously I'll eventually do like more of the, some of the Facebook ads or YouTube ads at some point, but right now that's like a good leverage point that I want to, and no one's really doing this strategy. I probably shouldn't have just put it out there on the internet now that everyone's, it's kind of like my secret tech strategy. So congratulations to the people listening to this podcast, because no one's going to know it, but yeah, no one's doing that, right? No one is really doing that strategy. So I think that will be a good one, because it's an untapped, marketing strategy.
Interesting.
Yeah, the
I like
book
it.
funnels are always, you're right, like it just has to be your best customers, because they've basically
already put
like
down
been
money.
indoctrinated into something. Yeah, more importantly, time, right? $2 for the book is one thing, but 2 hours or 3 hours of time spent on reading something is way more valuable, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's like, if you've been with them for 3 hours, they're going to listen to you for a lot more longer. Yeah, that's good.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've got the
Dude,
books
Here's
on publishing.
the other. You what?
I said I got the books like that. I've got authors commissioned to publish through Simple Programmer too, and that aligns well with that strategy, right? Because those people can, those books can get promoted too. So.
Hey, so if you got banned on TikTok, the second thing is to go and start advertising on TikTok.
That's true, because I still have that name recognition there. Yeah. The only problem is I can't. You have to have a TikTok account to advertise on TikTok.
You
So
do.
I have to create a new TikTok account.
Yeah, I hope it's easy to do, because Facebook, it's a bitch. You need like fake IDs and shit to do that.
Yeah.
Which people do. Which
How
probably
would
you would
you
have
know,
to do if
Manny?
you- I haven't done it yet, but I have plenty of friends in that space to know. Like I haven't really spent as much on Facebook to get to the point where I will, my account gets shut down. But it happens to people for no good reason. For no good reason, people's accounts get shut down. So I am totally understanding of the fact that accounts can get shut down across the board, whether it's content play or ad platform play. It can happen. All I'm saying is that even though it can happen on both, one is just a little too much invested efforts, and it feels like, what the hell happened at the end of it, right? When a lot of dating people got their accounts, basically like YouTube basically killed their accounts more or less, right here, last couple of years. Bunch of people got their accounts almost done. They had to transform to personal development and shit like that. So kind of what John's saying there might be, John, that's what you're now getting into with YouTube.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Compared to some of the other dating gurus who also went through this phase.
Yeah.
Even though you may not think like your content is anywhere close to theirs, doesn't matter. In the eyes of the YouTube gods, it's a different game they're playing.
It's also possible to, like, one of the things that you can do is create different kind of content on the front end, right? Let's say like any kind of dating or relationship stuff is basically, gets blacklisted or shadow banned or whatever. Is one other strategy is to just come in with a correlating thing that, like, again, making videos focusing on confidence or being more social, or right.
Right. That's what people are doing.
Yeah. And then on the back end, then that those people are going to they're receptive to the dating type of content, and so you can pitch them from there. So there's a lot of ways to make it work.
You can do another thing. You can do you can pull a Matthew Hussey. You can just do it. You could just become a dating coach for women, in which case, you're clear. Yeah. It's dating coaching for guys that's the messed up space.
Right.
Dating coaching for women is not a messed up space. No, it's real. It's real. It's not even funny.
I'm sure.
Coaching for men, like that's where they think they're all like evil people.
Yeah.
But coaching women on dating, that's all good.
Yeah.
So, John, you could go bulldog mindset for women. How to be a bulldoggess or bull goddess.
How to be a bitch.
How to the bitch mindset. The bitchness mindset.
The bulldog bitch mindset.
it'll be female dog mindset.
The bull bitch mindset.
Female bulldog mindset, also known as bitch bulldog mindset. Bitch
bulldog.
Mindset.
Bitch bull bitch mindset.
Yeah, let's see if we can get in trouble again on this show.
Right?
Yeah. Like, I'm talking to be a bad bitch, though. Be a bad bitch.
I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there that dating coaching for men is a dangerous place, but dating coaching for women isn't really a dangerous place because people don't get banned there. It's considered a much easier space. But
Well, the focus is also on less controversial stuff because women want different things from the relationship than men.
Yeah, they don't put the controversy.
Well, the other thing is there's not this, and I'm using this word deliberately, but this toxic outlook on masculinity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even. But yeah, so you don't get into as much trouble there because you're not crossing those social lines that have now been deemed unacceptable. Even though in reality you may be leading people to have healthy relationships. So
I did do a video like on TikTok for women, and it's on my Instagram too. And it was like how to stop attracting clingy men, and it still got a lot of views on it. But a lot of guys got pissed off because they're like, why are you giving this advice to women? Because my advice was, I was like, if you're attracting clingy men, then what you need to do is when you meet a guy, make some ridiculous request of him, like to have him drive 50 miles or something like that. And I was like, if he does it, then get rid of him because he's a loser. If he stands up for himself and he's like, nah, I'm not gonna do that, then he's not a clingy guy. So there you go. So, but guys got pissed off about that one. They're like, why are you helping women? Why are you making it harder for us? I was like, but then I told him, I was like, are you so dumb you can't figure out how this video could be useful to you? Like, can you not figure out how like knowing this information could be useful to you? Like, so.
Yeah. Anyway.
What sucks though is I had all these people were emailing me for TikTok sponsorships, basically throwing money at me to promote their products, do TikTok videos. And now I have to tell them, can't do that because I don't have a TikTok account anymore. So.
Well, okay. So back to Chuck's point, what Chuck said, if you build a castle, if you build, 250,000 subscriber platform, then you must have made money along the way.
Yeah.
Well, John is a prime example of that. He did not make money or as much money anywhere close to. I don't know how much you made from it, John. There's probably not in tens of thousands of dollars, is it?
From what? From the TikTok stuff?
Yeah.
Not tens of thousands of dollars, but definitely some money for sure. I mean, it's hard to quantify stuff like that because
and that's cool. I'm not like not saying that you did like. I'm just saying the assumption that somehow you're making money along the way while you're growing the platform isn't always true.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, because you can input in, you really don't really start making money until, you have several phases of content marketing, right? The first one is the growth phase, and you're not making money during that time, but you're putting in the hardest work during that time. Yep. And then once you have gone through that phase, then you can start looking at monetizing.
Right.
So
absolutely,
you can put a lot of work in and then have no return from that work. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, there's also the brand equity within a a niche, right? So if
Mhm.
you can become famous in an area, then then that those are the unquantifiable results, right? Because what you're doing when you do that is you're basically building you're converting people to warm traffic, as they know who you are, or word of mouth, they hear who you are, and then that reputation, has a result. It makes your other efforts more fruitful, because these people are not completely cold traffic anymore. Even though it might seem like they are from an analytics perspective, they're actually not, because they heard of you, they saw you.
Right.
That's where, like you're saying, Manny, the retargeting is gold there, because you can use that with the content marketing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you should definitely look at retargeting to kind of allow for a massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to.
I know you've been focused on organic, but you should look at ads, man.
Yeah.
I think it will. Huh?
Yeah, I got to get a good offer together. I mean, it's definitely on my list, but I've got to get a good offer together. And it's not like running ads. It's just like turn on a random ad. It's like you have to be managing those ads and keeping the winners and killing the losers, and and managing which keywords or which audience demographics are performing, and messing with the budgets and the bids. So it's not like a simple thing that you just dabble in.
No, 100% agree. It's a long-term play too. Like, in the sense, you do have to invest time and energy and effort into making it work. And I don't think an outside agency can do it. You guys have already tried it before, right? It just doesn't work. You have to do it yourself. That's the other painful part of it.
Yeah. At least you have to start it yourself.
Outside agency can help you scale it, but they can't help you go from 0 to 1.
Yeah. It's more like they can manage the ads and the bidding and the demographics part of it, but they're not going to come up with the offer, which is the most important thing. And even the copy, to some degree. Sure, they can write some of the copy perhaps, but it's still not going to be as good as your own copy that you create. So
right.
100%. Offer is the most crucial element, right? The thing is, with content, with organic, you're selling trust.
Yeah.
Right. So the offer doesn't have to be that hot for conversion to be like, for you to get conversions. Of course, the other side of content marketing is also the idea that because it's content marketing and because it's not tangible, the expenses you're putting into it, they're not always tangible, right? They're not coming, like, you're not paying dollars every day when you're doing content marketing, right? It's not visible. So we're not as aggressively trying to tighten the sales page and the offer and the messaging and all those things, because it's not, money is not coming out of the pocket that quickly. But when on ads, money is going out of your pocket, you're like, holy shit, what the hell? I spent $500, didn't get anything back. What the hell? Like, what's wrong with my offer? But with organic, you can take a much more like easy approach with it and be like, all right, yeah, it's working. Yeah. So we don't get aggressive with conversions on organic, but we have to get really aggressive with conversions when it comes to paid. So that's kind of a plus on paid, in the sense it forces you to tighten up the offer. But on the other side, with content, organic, all the content you're putting out there is kind of depositing into your trust bank account. So people don't need as scintillating an offer to buy from you, because most of your effort is going into building trust with, like, it's almost like trust multiplied by urgency, and boom, you made a sale. While with advertising, it's an offer that is so crucial.
Yeah.
With organic, you need a decent offer, but you need more trust and more like you can play with trust quite a bit when it comes to organic. But with paid, like, trust, as the price goes up, trust does become a player. But most of the times you don't need as much trust if the offer is good.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is is I'm looking at too, like before I really embark upon the ads, I realize that what I want to do is play a little bit bigger ball, right? Because if I'm going to invest all this time and energy, plus it makes the ads easier, is I'm going to go more bigger ticket for that, right? I need a bigger, better offering with a really good offer. So, maybe it's something, maybe it looks like something like, bulldog mindset, like confidence, mastery, and like whatever it is, some kind of personal development thing for, for small business owners or CEOs or whatever it is, I mean, like a higher demographic. And then maybe the thing that I'm selling is like a $5,000 course where it's like 2 or 3 weeks of hands-on training with a coach. And then, I mean, something that is large enough that that the ad, like the return on ad spend, the cost per conversion, it can be large. And then, and then also just that it scales up, right? Because if you look at it right now, right, with Bulldog Mindset membership, I've got, about 900 or so members, right? So, I mean, it's a pretty good haul, maybe $25,000 a month on average, which is great. But in order to make $50,000 a month, I have to double that. So I have to get however many people I have now, and I have to double that, and that's only $50K a month, which again is a good amount, but it's still not, in order to get 100,000, it's got to 4 times that. So that's not going to happen very organically. And even if I do paid ads to do that, it's still going to be a long, slow haul. But if I have, let's say, I don't know, like a $5,000 product, right, and I can sell 100 of those, a month, there you go, right there. I mean, that's $500,000 a month if you can do that. Even if you can sell 10 of them a month, that's 50,000 right there. So that's a lot less work to get that working than it is to try and get the huge volume, right? The huge volume is better targeted towards content marketing, towards organic traffic, because you have so many people and they're not qualified buyers. And so, if you have a huge platform and you sell a cheap product to those people, sure, that's great, that'll work. But for the paid advertising, it makes a lot more sense in my mind to have a very high ticket offer.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to have a high ticket offer, but here's the thing about paid ads. At lower price point, your conversions are going to be different compared to a higher price point, because you're going to sell a $5,000 program. It's going to be from the ads to probably a webinar registration page, from webinar to a call. So if you think about it, like, okay, from the ad to the webinar registration page, you're going to lose 70% of people, right? So you're left with 30%. From webinar registration page to people who, actually watch your webinar, it will be maybe 10 or 20% of people who watch it, right? So now you're left with 3% of people. For the number of people you paid for, you're now left with 3% of people who watch the webinar in full, maybe 6%, right? And then out of them, maybe you get 10 or 20% of them to book a call. Right. So now suddenly the numbers start to go down very quickly on that front as well. And then the booking the call, and then show up rates, and then then on the call conversion rates. So you quickly start to see that you're not converting 1%, you're maybe converting 0.1%. So the ROI, the ROAS isn't going to change as dramatically as you would think, because if you're selling a $33 or $39 a month membership, you're going to not have to worry about all the steps where you're going to lose those people. So if you get 2x ROAS on a $5,000 program, yeah, you can get 1.8x ROAS on a $39 a month program or something. And still, they would, because of the law of large numbers on this, small numbers on this, because there's a smaller percentage of people who will be willing to buy $5,000 program compared to people who are willing to invest $29 or $39 a month in a membership. So that number is also more like 100 to 1 ratio of people out there
Exactly.
who are going to do that, right? So yes, in some ways, it is easier to maneuver those numbers in terms of like getting ROAS and like playing with those numbers, because you just need one to make all the $5,000 investment back, which is true. And, 100% true. But at the same time, if you look at the biggest scaling businesses, they aren't necessarily always like the largest ticket products, right? They are, well, okay, yes and no, because in the content space, in the coaching space is mostly higher ticket products.
Yeah.
But outside of it is not. So yeah, it's a mixed bag.
And it all depends on the targeting though, right? On which, so for example, I've been playing poker a lot, right? I was playing at a 1-2 table, right? That's where the blinds are $1, $2. And you go there, right? And it's like the buy-in is $300, right? And you sit there and all these people fold their hands, and it's like, some people, there's a couple of crazy people, but for the most part, people are just trying to like make $5 or $10 here, right? And they're not putting their chips in the pot. They're not betting their hands or anything like that, right? Then you go up to a $2 $5 game, right? Where the buy-in is $1,000. All of a sudden, it completely changes, right? Because the people that are playing the 1-2, like they have like making a couple $100 is a lot to them. They're willing to sit 8 hours to try and make a couple $100, right? Because they don't have a lot of money. The people that are playing the 2-5, now you've got people that are coming in because they have $1,000 to buy in, right? So they've got a lot of money. So how are they playing? They're putting all their money in the pot. They're betting high. They're trying to win. So they're willing to invest money. If they lose $1,000, they're going to put another $1,000 on the table because they have that money. So, and if you go up even higher, then you'll find even more aggressive play and people that aren't afraid to lose $1,000 or $5,000. And so it's kind of the same thing here, as it's like, if in some realm, right, in just a general, audience, a $5,000 program, it's ridiculous. It's a large ticket item, right? But when you look at someone who's running a business, who's making $300,000 a year, $500,000 a year, $1 million a year, for them, that's not even like that's a very small purchase. It's not a big deal, right? It's a much easier. So that's where I'm kind of looking at is, it's like, okay, it's not just a matter of like, what is the conversion rate? Because if you talk about the general audience, just general people, yeah, you're right. The conversion rate is going to drop off so much, as you go down that funnel. But if you're looking at specifically the demographic that has that higher income, the business owners, then that conversion rate will be more similar to the same conversion rate of the $7, monthly trial or whatever
Well, yes and no, because you can't find those people through advertising that easily. You're still going to go through all those steps in funnel conversions when you're going through advertising, right? If you had access to a group of like 500 or 1,000 people in a room who are all like running $1 million businesses, then by all means, you're 100% right. Yeah. Right. All you had to do was present to them, and you closed 20% of the people, and boom, you actually made $1 million that night. But because $5,000, 200 people, it's $1 million, right? But the thing is, when like, especially advertising on a platform like YouTube or Facebook or anything like that, you're still going to go through all of that funnel steps. You can't avoid those steps because you're not going to find $1 million customers that easily. Or if you do say this is only for $1 million customers, which is cool, you could say that. Right. Well, suddenly you're going to find lead costs that are more like $500 rather than like $10.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So yeah, it's a game. Like it's a lot of different pieces of the puzzle that will come into play. I do like the idea of like having a more, like a solidified offer that you feel you can get behind and sell at a much higher ticket, because that will help uh, take, that'll make things easier and make it easier to advertise for the
And I
time
think
being.
and I think the key to it too is like when you look at that higher ticket, because it does cost you more to get in front of those people, right? So one of the things that I want to do also with that is have a fulfillment that's so good that people refer, right? Because especially, everyone who's high level business, they have masterminds, they have groups, they have meetups, they know people, you have a valuable network if you're a valuable individual as well. And so if you can get people in the door through advertising, and then you can get those people to refer because your product fulfillment is so good, then that's what I'm also looking at with the membership as well. Is one of the things I'm looking at doing just at the lower level membership is I saw a thing where Alex Hermosi was saying, like, if your product costs 10 times more, right, what would you deliver? What would you need to deliver? And so his idea was like, don't change the price, just deliver what you would, so if I charge $400 for membership, what would I do? Well, the first thing that came to my mind was that I would have personal coaches for the people that join. So as soon as you join the membership, someone would give you a call on the phone and say, okay, why did you join the membership? What are the issues you're facing? And this would be a trained person that would say, oh, so you're having problems with self-confidence. Okay, well, here's a couple of videos, watch these videos, and then, check in with me. I'll check in with you next week, and I'll give you another call, and we'll talk about how it's going, right? And so I could train and have a couple of people that handle that for fairly cheaply. Let's say that, and you don't need to do that the whole time. Maybe you just need to, babysit someone for the first month or 2 months of membership, right? And so, imagine if I hire someone for, I don't know, let's say one full-time person that does this for $3,000 a month, right? And let's say that their capacity is that they can handle, 100 new members per month. Well, those 100 new members per month for me, they're worth $4,000, right? For the first month, for the first paid month, right? So paying someone $3,000 to handle $4,000 worth of and then if they continue to pay, right, then it pays for that cost. But the benefit of that is, imagine if you get that kind of experience, you're going to be telling your friends, you're going to be promoting it, and then referrals come in. And so I'm looking at seriously doing that. I just have to train some people to be able to do that, and it doesn't even have to be expensive, because I can even get someone for $1,000 or $1,500 a month, that because it's more just about the accountability and the personal touch, right? So that's what I'm looking at as well, is because I'm really wanting to lean towards having such a great product that people refer it.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it's building a good coaching program, if that's what you're after, then I mean, that is what you're going to do, right? Coaching, is that what
No, it's
gonna
not. It's not coaching. It's the same membership that you pay $40 a month for, but you're going to have a personal coach that onboards you for the first 2 months or so, and gives you some coaching, right? Basically, like, you're getting just a ridiculous value. You're like, the idea is that someone says, well, shit, I paid $40 a month and I have a person like calling me up and helping me and talking to me about my issues, right?
be? Well,
There's not enough time to talk about my issues.
Because if you think
Yeah,
about it, right, like if you look at the numbers on that, let's say I had someone working 8 hours a day, right, and they did, let's say that they did like 12 calls per day, right? They could handle 12 calls per day. Well, then their whole output, times 5 days a week, they could be doing 60 calls a week, or 240 calls a month. So that means, like, they could have one, if they had 100 people that they were onboarding, right? They could get on each, talk to each person approximately 2.5 times per month, right? With a 30-minute phone call.
right. They need to have the skill to be able to handle all those different kinds of issues. So then you would charge, like, like $99 a month or $4.99 a month, or what would that be?
Same price, $40 a month, just like I'm charging now. The whole idea would be that it would be such a great value that people would share it. Right? Imagine if you sign up for a program for $40 a month, and then you got personal calls from a coach that helped you and answered your questions and guided you through the process.
Sounds like people working live together in a focus block.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah. So then, so I guess you have to pick your poison, which one you go down and build out, which offer you want to build out and kind of sell through.
Yeah. And I think starting at the lower one that I already have existing by hiring coaches and seeing if I can increase the retention rate and then the referral rate, that's the place to start, because once I have that system working, then I know what kind of service to provide at an even higher level, because that's a good test for it. Because it doesn't take much for me to ramp up to that. All I have to do is literally hire a person and train them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, too. I mean, you gotta run a test and see what happens in this scenario, like how people respond to it and how it helps increase the retention or referral rates as well. Yeah, do the test. I think it's definitely worth trying it out, seeing where it goes.
Yep, absolutely.
Chuck, we still have time for you, man.
Yeah.
Well, I was just curious if anything's new with focus blocks.
Well, we are at 270 members right now. That's what it is. So it's like half organic, half paid ads, more or less at this time.
Yeah.
But dude, we got to do a promotion soon. So
yeah, we do. We definitely do. I also need to talk to you about potentially adding it to the podcast boot camp. I've sold one seat. I'm doing a whole bunch of promotion this next week to see if I can get more people to sign up.
Yeah, what's going on with you? Tell us about your business. It's not like we don't care about your business. We still love you.
Oh, I know. Yeah, tough love. So I've been doing what are they? Twitter Spaces. It's kind of like Clubhouse except on Twitter.
Okay.
And I've been getting people in. I've got a couple of people that are interested in starting podcasts. So I've either got calls scheduled with them this week or this next week, or I had the one guy just sign up. So I'm hoping to sell like 2 or 3 more spots, and that would be like there's $2,000 a seat.
Is it the same? Is it the same program? What is it now?
4 weeks. Yeah, it's 4 weeks. Just giving you the whole template for starting your show. So here's how you get your artwork done. Here's how you do your first 5 or so episodes to introduce your show.
So 4-week boot camp to start your podcast?
Yep.
And you're mostly going after the tech audience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have a few people that are interested in it for other business.
Have you already put together a sales page for it, or like a landing page for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a marketing guy who's a good friend of mine. He went through it with me. And I've got to make one more edit to it. He said, I did have a testimonial on there. He said, you only have one testimonial and it's not enough. He said, if it were a video testimonial, I'd leave it, but it's not. So,
what is your sales mechanism right now?
What do you mean?
Like, what's the process? What's the funnel?
They go to the page and hopefully click the button to sign up. I've been mostly I've been talking to people. I have calls, then I'm going to pitch it to them on those calls.
That's what I was looking for. So what is the landing page for that?
For those calls?
Yeah, what I'm trying to understand is, are you sending people like from the like they listen to your podcast and they're like, oh,
No, I've been
like,
doing like the Twitter Spaces. I've been advertising it on the podcast too. I've just been sending them to my Schedule Once page.
oh, nice. Just directly like schedule a call with me if you're interested in growing your podcast or starting a podcast.
Yeah.
And then they schedule a call.
Yeah.
How many people schedule the call?
Most of those people I've invited directly on Twitter Spaces. For some reason, the podcast advertising isn't driving a whole lot of folks. So it's usually people that I get, like I'll get on the Twitter Spaces and it'll be like, need help starting your podcast, or, be recognized as an expert in your field or whatever. And yeah, I generally get people who are fans of the show, but they'll get on and they'll say something, they'll ask me questions. And then after I've answered a couple of questions, I'll mention the podcast boot camp, and that's when people are interested, because then they're going, he really knows what he's doing. And it seems like that's what's connecting to people.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I was gonna say, here's the way that you might build, because you're advertising to people who are listening to your podcast, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so maybe instead of because not everyone who's listening to your podcast is wanting to start a podcast, or very few. True. Right? But so you almost have to create the interest. So maybe what your advertisement should be is, do you have what it takes to start your own podcast? Almost like a challenge. Like, do you, could you be a successful podcaster? Take this quick quiz to find out, or whatever it is. And then basically, like, when they take that quiz, then you kind of follow up with them, and you say, well, here's, in that quiz, you're also sort of talking about, or right after, about how much money you can make and how it can improve your career. And like, you're selling them the benefits of it. And then you can get on a call with them and then, basically say, hey, no, you could do this. Like, this is something that you could do. Here's how to do it. I offer a training course. Because that might be easier than, because right now you're only going to hit people that are like, oh, I'd like to start a podcast. But probably the biggest thing stopping people from starting podcasts is thinking that they can't do it. They're not qualified to do it. Like, they probably have in their mind, oh, that'd be cool.
That's the question I get asked the most. I've only been programming for so long, and I want to start a programming show, or I'm not sure I have enough to talk about, or I'm not sure people would really want to listen to me.
Yeah. So that might be a better way to see if you get more traction.
Mm-hmm. How do I tie that back to are you good enough to start a podcast?
You just basically have a little ad read where you're like, podcasting is a lucrative industry. It's growing by X% per year. Take this quick quiz to find out if you have what it takes to become a podcaster. Your answer might surprise you, or the answer might surprise you, or something like that.
I like it.
And it'll be basically like, and then whatever, you've come up with the questions, but it's basically gonna be like, do you have a pulse and can you speak English? You'll have more questions than that, but that's like, everyone wins. Everyone qualifies. Of course you're qualified to start a podcast. Like, there's no.
Yeah. No, it's true.
You're just getting some pre-commitment.
Some people aren't, right? But the problem isn't their expertise. Their problem is they don't know how to talk into a microphone in a way that is engaging at all, and so they're just gonna. You get my point, right? And you could train people around that, but those are the people that are going to struggle. It's not the people who are new or don't know as much about whatever topic they want to podcast about.
Right. But you can offer them solutions for any of the issues that they have. And that's because that's ultimately what you're selling, right? Because you're selling them how to be a podcaster, how to start your own podcast. And so you have to tackle all of their issues, right? You're going to teach them what they need to know about voice inflection. You're going to teach them what they need to know about, scheduling and all the things that they are going to face.
So here's my little take on this, that teaching them how to start a podcast is not going to make you plenty of money. because you actually need to teach them how to make money. That's where money is. Teaching them how to do something isn't really where money is anymore. Because people are going to say, well, I could basically sign up for a simple, and it's not today. It's always been the world. The world's always been distinguished by people who are selling like you can sell exactly, you can do the same exact thing. You just have to package it differently.
Right.
You can sell an outcome or you can sell an instrument, right? You can sell a mechanism or you can sell an end result. The difference between why, what's his name, John Lee Dumas was able to grow his podcast thingy was because he was selling the idea that you can make so much money as a sponsor, or you can make so much money as a podcaster, right? He wasn't selling how to podcast.
Right.
You know, the guys who are selling how to podcast, well, you don't.
I know some of them. They're my friends.
I know, but basically you don't.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. That's interesting. That's really interesting.
The people who are teaching people how to make money on that platform are always going to be 10 steps ahead of people who are teaching people how to do that platform. There are plenty of people who teach YouTube how to build a YouTube channel. Plenty of people who do that. But then there are some people who teach how to make money off of your YouTube channel by selling courses and high ticket. And those people are making 7 and 8 figures right now. I know both of them. I know the people who are teaching how to make YouTube channels, and I know people who are teaching how to profit from a YouTube channel, even if it's only 10,000 subscribers. There are people who are selling how to build a YouTube channel with 50,000 subscribers. And there are people who are selling, even if you only have 5,000 subscribers, I can show you how to make 6 figures. Guess where people are going?
Yeah, I can tell you that, the two common threads that I get as far as why is I either get people who aren't confident that they can build their career the way they want as quickly as they want any other way, right? They feel like they have to have a media channel to go promote themselves. But it is more common, actually, for me to get people that say, I want to make X amount of money a month so that I can quit my job. Or I want to make X amount of money a month with this business that I have so I don't have to go get a job. Or I want to make X amount of money, blah, 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 blah. Or just, I want this outcome that usually is tied to them making money. And so...
So we go back to where you started. You actually had something working, which you are just randomly abandoning because you think that thing wasn't working. When you actually had something that works, you just had to machine it. You just have to make the damn thing better. Because if you can sell people on how to build a better career as a result of podcasting and how to double their income as a result of podcasting, or how to double their freelancing rates, or how to make more as a software developer by becoming a podcaster, how to add 50% take home, like how to make 50% more money, or how to increase your income by 50% in a year using the power of podcasting. Now there is something to it. Like, unfortunately, you're trying to sell a hammer. Don't sell a hammer, sell a hole, or what they call it. Don't sell the drill, sell a hole.
Right.
So don't sell the drill. Right. That's marketing, copywriting.
I like don't sell the hammer, sell the hole.
I was actually analyzing some of my ads, right? And I was looking at all the different ad angles. And interestingly enough, one of the ad angles is, and you guys might have seen, you guys have probably been inundated by my Focus Blocks ads by this time, right? If you're not, I'm sorry.
On Facebook?
Yeah.
I'm never on Facebook.
Plenty of your ads, right?
Yeah.
I spend no time on Facebook.
Well, I love to, that's the only platform I use these days, right? So one of my ads that is, okay, so it's this. I had a fight with my girlfriend and she said we should break up because I'm spending so much time working. And she told me you're working nonstop, 6 a.m. till 11 p.m. What the hell is this? Is this what our future is? Blah, blah. And then I say, well, it's in that moment I realized something had to change. Like this wasn't going to continue on. And that's when I realized that everything I had come, like everything I'd, like I thought I was a productivity guru. I'd read all these books. I'd read all these greats. I had actually built productivity systems, but even then I was failing. And I realized the biggest reason for why I was failing was because I was trying to use motivation and willpower and discipline to make it all work, which never works. No matter how much I know about productivity, I'm still limited by motivation and willpower. So that's why I decided to hack. I decided to build a system that doesn't need motivation or willpower. And that's how Focus Blocks was born, right? And as a result of that, now I have more time than my girlfriend. I go do this, I go do that. By 2 p.m. I'm done. And so this is my schedule, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. I work, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I work out, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I work, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I do overflow work, 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. I just chill out and enjoy my life, right? And here, you should try Focus Blocks. Didn't even tell them anything about how Focus Blocks works. Nobody has a clue. Like they don't know what this Focus Blocks thing is. All I told them was I was stuck in a quandary. It was a big problem. And the outcome of it is now I finish my workday by 2 p.m. and I enjoy my life after that, right? That's all I told them.
Right.
Told them a little bit about the problem, like told them a lot about my problems, and then told them about the problems they're probably facing too.
Yeah.
In my own story, even though I didn't call them out on that, right? The reason why that beats, like I was looking at my other ads, like this ad basically gets me customers at like $65 a customer, while some of my other ads where I literally say, here is how exactly Focus Blocks work. Here's the problem, and here's why, and here's what Focus Blocks are, and this is why it works, and this is what you need. Those ads are getting me customers at $120, right? The reason is because those ads, I'm selling them the mechanism. I'm trying to tell them exactly what Focus Blocks are. I'm like so enamored with my solution. I'm like, look at this brilliant solution. You guys need it.
Right.
But in the previous ad, I had nothing to do to talk about Focus Blocks. And this is actually a realization I only had in the last couple of days as I was analyzing all the ads, like all the ad copy and angle. And I was trying to figure out why is this work? Like I finally was like, oh shit. It's because I was selling an outcome.
Yeah.
And the headline of the ad is the most unexpected outcome, a beautiful relationship, right?
Yeah.
So think about that. Like people are not buying productivity at that point. People who are buying it are buying way more than a productivity solution.
Right. They're buying having their girlfriend break up with them because they went paddleboarding without them instead of breaking up with them because they're always at work.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're buying a possible outcome in life, a better relationship.
They're buying time with their kids. They're buying time with their, with their
They're buying a
hobbies.
better life.
Yeah.
They're buying a better life. Right?
You're also pre-qualifying
Right?
your leads too, because
yeah.
the people who have girlfriends or wives or families have more money.
That's true too. They're at the age where they have more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes sense too. You're also preventing people, like when you tell people what Focus Blocks is, they have objections. They're like, oh, I don't know if that'll work. I don't know if I have enough time for that. I don't know if I'm ready to commit to that. But if you sell them on the outcome before, then they're going to try to find ways why that's going to work to get the outcome they want, as opposed to find ways why it's not going to work.
Right.
So
yeah. It's fascinating, man. Like human psychology
made more work for me.
No, I'm actually taking away work from you. I'm saying don't mess around with the new stuff. The old stuff actually is working. You just need to fine tune that machine. You still need to continue to sell the outcome. You should not try to sell a mechanism.
Yeah. I mean, you can always make it, like I said, like you can always kind of take the road where you say, do you have what it takes to become a podcaster and make this amount of money, the average, whatever it is, or to become a profitable podcaster, right? Maybe you can just even take it that angle, and then it's more focused on that. But
is that domain sold?
Probably.
I like it. Profitable podcaster. Anyone who's listening, please don't try to buy it while Chuck is trying to buy it.
I'm sure it's gone. I can almost promise you it's gone.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's
good
gone.
name. Yeah.
It's taken. I can make an offer on it.
It's a good domain.
I wonder who has it.
It's probably pretty expensive.
Nothing found. The website is totally blank.
Ha!
I mean, it is there, but it's total. I'm Ellie. I'm El, the creator and host of couplemoney.com. So she
Where are you
has
seeing
the.
that?
So she's basically holding it. She's not really using it. Interesting. El Martinez, creator of Couple Money.
Oh, you
Help
click the
couples
about
make
page.
money. Yeah. You can buy her a coffee. There's a link for that. And chat with her.
Huh.
Nothing clicks on her website. Damn it. This girl is not ready to do business yet.
Yeah, I clicked through to her other couplemoney.com.
Yeah, you can DM her.
Well, then I got this full page ad over the top of the page that you click, no, continue browsing, and that didn't work.
Yeah, I think you could totally buy that domain off of her. She isn't doing anything with her. But again, I think the key is to focus in on selling the outcome.
Yeah.
And
I
not
agree.
worry about selling the mechanism, because people who sell
Yeah.
mechanisms, like I learned, like
No, it's
literally,
true.
I have a very good ad that explains exactly what Focusbox is about. Nobody gives a fuck
And
about
it
it
doesn't
apparently,
convert.
because I'm spending $120 per customer, and I have an ad where I talk zero about Focusbox, and I'd make double the money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
No, makes sense.
like when I finally understood it, my mind was blown. Not because we have not heard this before. In copywriting, we always knew that that was the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But as logical people, sometimes we get deluded with the idea that somehow, because we have such a brilliant solution, people would love it and people would understand it.
I
They
do
would
have a
flock.
brilliant solution.
You do. We all do. Unfortunately, people only care about the outcome. That's the only difference.
Yep. Nope,
So
it's true.
I would take that. I think it was already working well for you. You just had to keep machining the metrics.
Yeah. You
don't like to machine the metrics, but that's really.
I don't.
Like
I had a bunch of other stuff go down too. I mean, at this point, I'm kind of back out the other side of that. So.
What do you mean?
Just with family stuff, I had a whole bunch of stuff kind of fall apart all at once.
So yeah, right now you're not. You know, you're still like. How's the sponsorship thing going?
So I made a deal with Buy Sell Ads, so they're going to find me sponsors. They've already lined up a sponsor for October, November for JavaScript Jabber, and they're talking to a couple of other companies. So yeah, we're just going to make sure we deliver them. Should be good.
Is it at least 5-figure deal for a couple of months or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Per month or?
It's per episode.
Okay. So that's good, man. Like if you can get stabilize one side of the business, then you can focus on the other side.
Yeah, if I can get that going, I want to do more, because the thing that was really working for me was the bonus episodes. So I need to start doing those again, and now that I can breathe again, I'm just gonna sit down and just make sure I have a whole bunch of them out, ready to go out for the next several months, and then I might intersperse them with like affiliate focused ones, but yeah.
The thing that you're, I think what happens sometimes is that you're because you're not looking at the numbers of the entire funnel, you get discouraged thinking that it's not working.
Yeah, I put together a spreadsheet for that actually. so that I can track it.
Yes, exactly. Because once you know
And by
the
put together, I
numbers,
mean I stole it from Cliff Ravenscraft, but
I mean, it's a simple
he gave
spreadsheet
it.
for a
He
funnel,
gave it to
right?
me.
Yeah, it's not such a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. It's a pretty simple, like how many
Yeah.
listens and how many clicks and how many people landed on the opt-in page,
Well,
how many people landed on the sale application page.
the one he gave me was just um, goal of 20 calls per month, which is 5 calls per week, give or take. And then how many of them do you make a coaching pitch for, and how much money does that translate to? And anyway,
Yeah, that's fine. Like that is okay. And you should have that. What
but
I
yeah,
was kind of
tracking the rest of it, yeah, for the clicks and the
see the thing is sometimes um sometimes numbers can lead you down different paths. Let me explain
yeah,
what I mean. When the goal is to get 20 calls a month or 5 calls a week, and the objective is to get 5 calls a week, you can do a lot of different things to get 5 calls a week,
mm-hmm.
right?
No,
You
I
can do a
agree.
lot of different things. You can go to the Twitter version of community, what is it? Clubhouse and all that stuff, right? You can find a lot of different things to do to hit that number goal. But on the other side of this equation is the idea that if you were tracking the numbers for the podcast all the way from how many listens to how many clicks to how many sales page views,
Right.
how many opt-in views to how many applications to how many calls, you would have a different objective to track, because now you're thinking, okay, if I need to go from 3 calls to 5 calls, how do I, which
Right.
metric can I actually influence in this chain
Right.
of events to get to that number, right?
No, I
So
agree. But the
careful
other
with,
thing
yeah,
is like if I already have the bonus episode set to go out, I've got the ads going into the podcasts, and I don't have all of my calls filled for the rest of this week or next week, then I may want to do one of these other approaches just to get some of the short-term calls filled.
no. I vehemently disagree with that. The reason for that is because you will never machine that system if you constantly keep going out to a different source for your needs. I contest that you have plenty of people on your podcast network who would be willing to pay you the money for what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I truly believe that is the case.
I think
right
you're
now.
right.
You
Yeah.
could literally have $1,000 a month, 20, 30, 40 customers doing this with
Yeah.
you. And the more
Mhm.
testimonials you get, the better it gets and the more it
Yeah.
works for you. It's not so far-fetched to believe that there are, out of the 300,000 downloads, there are 30 people who actually want to do this, what you're doing.
Yeah. That's fair.
So, and it's not far-fetched to believe that you can get them. The challenge is, as soon as you go down the rabbit hole of searching people on other avenues, you stop the progress on the current avenue. Because the assumption is that
my point is that if I have the podcast episode ready to go out and things like that, I have all of that lined up. What else am I supposed to do?
Give me the spreadsheet. Tell me how many download numbers you had last month. How many clicks did you have from those downloads? How many landing page views did you have? How many people opted into your email list as a result of it? How many calls did they schedule from that? And how many calls did you have? If you can give me those numbers, I can tell you exactly what you should do next.
Okay. I'll start pulling those numbers together.
Oh, seriously, I'm serious. Like, if you can give me those numbers.
I know you're serious. I'll start pushing it out again. I'll start collecting those numbers, and you can tell me what to do next.
Yeah, because if you tell me there are 200 people clicking on that damn page,
and no one's converting,
you're only getting one call, then we know where, like, we can, like you say, 200 people coming on the sales page, but I only had 10 emails. I know where the problem is, right?
Right.
You could say 200 people coming on the page, but I got 100 emails, but then I only got one call. I know where to fix it, right? So, but if you just tell me I only got one call out of my podcast efforts, I have nowhere to go with the fixing thing. Right. So unless there are metrics, there's nothing to fix.
Okay.
But if you
Sounds
have
good.
metrics, you can machine the system. You can literally double, triple, quadruple, 5x your output just by having numbers.
Okay.
And I'm not even fucking around with that shit when I say 5x, because just by having numbers, you will know exactly where to fix the leaky buckets.
Okay.
And that's not even a fully optimized system at that point. It's just the basic system working. Just by knowing the numbers, you will fix half the things.
Okay.
That's my
Sounds
contention.
good.
So I'm not agreeing with your friend there, just because I believe there's, the funnel thinking, the more like software analytical thinking versus like do whatever you need to do to get 5 people on the call, right? It's
Okay.
like the engineering approach to fixing this shit, which is I've got a big network. Let me fish in this network. Let me go and put out a really good bait and get the fish to bite. And now I know every time I go out fishing, I get 10 fish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of my coaching clients, he is what he's doing is he's selling like a $3,000 to $6,000 program,
Mm-hmm.
and he's on LinkedIn, and he has, I don't know, like maybe 10,000 connections on LinkedIn, and then he does posts on LinkedIn every day, like 1 or 2 posts, and then when people reply to the post or comment on the post, he has a guy that engages all of them and then gets into direct message with them and direct messages them, and then he qualifies the leads, and then he books calls, and so he'll get like maybe 100 people he's talking to a day, and then he gets like 3 or 4 calls a day. But he just keeps on doing that same thing over and over again. He just keeps on fishing in that same pond, and the pond is starting to get a little bit fished out at this point, but he did that for like 6 months with no problem at all. So there's something to be said. And the good thing about that is that he's got such a good system down. If he were trying to like get leads from 15 different places, it'd be very difficult to create a repeatable system.
So I should be sending emails to my mailing list and posting stuff to the podcasts.
Depends. If you know the numbers, we can, like, I can tell you where. I'm sure John can tell you where to fix those buckets, right? Fix the leaks in the bucket first. Like sending emails to the list isn't necessarily the problem currently for you, because I don't know where, like, how many calls did you get from the podcast? I don't know right now, right? How many calls did you get from the podcast last week? And if you're telling me 0, then let's say, how many applications did you get from podcasts? Maybe you say 0. Well, and how many hits on that page did you get from the podcast? And you say maybe 5. Then we're going to be like, how many downloads did you get on the bonus episode last week? And how many of them had a call to action? All of those numbers have to be clear for us to know where to put our energy, right? If your bonus episodes are only getting 200 downloads, then it's a no-go, right? It's not working. Your episodes are not getting, you're not going to get any traction. Right. But if your bonus episode is going out on JavaScript Jabber, you're getting 10,000 downloads, I wouldn't believe if you told me I only got 10 hits on the page. It's not possible.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. So numbers will tell us the story.
Yeah. Running that again.
Numbers will tell us the story.
Okay.
Let's do the promo for Focus Blocks.
Yeah.
And John,
definitely.
You too, maybe I'll reach out to you and we'll talk about it whenever you have your affiliate calendar open, or whenever it is available. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I got my copywriter gone for like 2 or 3 weeks, but let's still talk about it. Maybe
I don't need the copywriter. I can have the emails written for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because
all you need to do is schedule those emails.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And what I want to do is I want to put Focus Blocks in the membership and in the sequence as well. People sign up for membership because they're going to be big responders. So
we could do a little like a webinar thing, how to focus or something.
Okay. Yeah. We could do something like that.
In your members area. That would just be another way to kind of promote it, right? Members area, like webinar, to get some people to show up. Maybe a YouTube video, something like that.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think that's also going to help is just, well, I got to get on the Focus Blocks more, but then like the advertising angle will be that come and join me on the Focus Blocks. You know,
come go work with me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a bulldog addendum, right?
Yeah.
If there was a way to, like, if you were to upsell it to your members in some way at a drastically, like, if we figure out a deal where if you wanted to like make it an additional sale, and I don't know, we'll figure it out whichever
Yeah.
way it works. We'll take it on another call. But Chuck, let's schedule something.
Yeah, we should.
Let's do it. And yeah, looking forward to it. Awesome.
All right. Should we do our thoughts for the week then?
Chuck's not ready to go yet.
No, I'm just thinking. I mean, so the thing that I've been thinking about most lately is just, and it's kind of come at me like 3 or 4 different ways this last week, is effectively, if you really want it, you'll figure out a way to make it work, right? But that doesn't mean that you're going to come up with the ideal way to make it work. But if you really want it, you should go for it, right? And yeah, if you can get advice from people you trust, I mean, you'll probably get there faster if they know what they're talking about. But I mean, that's the thing that's kind of I've been off and on with some of this is just, you know, it's, well, things are really hard right now, and so I'm having trouble finding the, you know, digging into that desire to have this kind of lifestyle. And what I realized was that that having that desire, you know, and being down on the way things are, we're tied together, right? It was sapping my energy to show up to work. It's been sapping my energy to do this other stuff. And I figured out, hey, you know what? I've got to get in, and I've either got to do what I've got to do before I go to work and have all my energy sucked away, or I've got to change some aspect of my current situation, right? Give up something that is taking some of this other energy out, or something like that. Because if I really want it, I'm going to figure out a way to get it done.
Yeah.
And so now I'm looking at things and evaluating, okay, what parts of this are going to get me where I want to go?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Chuck. I've been thinking a lot about the importance of numbers, partly like what we talked about today, but more so like analytics and numbers, like how crucial they are in overall business. And it's given the amount of data we have to deal with, it can sometimes be overwhelming to deal with numbers, but numbers tell the best story. And you can find a lot from those numbers that you can't find just by sitting and thinking about something. Yeah, you can find a lot from sitting and thinking about stuff, but it's a different kind of data point. So if you can go and drill into numbers for whatever area that you're kind of struggling with, you will always find really good answers there. Kind of like what I was telling you, the ads that I found that are working compared to the ads that are not working. Like I was just like not happy about the data, but I just hadn't like really done the thing with Facebook ads. What happens is with the amount of campaigns and ad sets and ads and all those things, the data gets dispersed so much that by the time I get around to putting that data together, it's already like all over the place. So like collecting it all together and finally like putting my mind to it and understanding it, it took a lot of time and effort and energy to get to that really basic understanding. But it is a crucial thing to get to. Otherwise, you can spend weeks, months, years doing the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
So numbers are crucial to make good quality decisions. So keep working those numbers and keep looking at the bigger picture through those numbers to find the answers.
I agree. Sometimes it's hard to get the numbers.
Yeah, it is very hard to get the numbers. That's the problem. I agree with you.
If I were setting up a new business today, I would make sure that the most important thing in that business was analytics.
Yeah.
That don't do anything without measuring it. Like if you make a video, know how many people click a link in that video. If you have a opt-in page, know how many people opt in, know what the conversion rate is. Like take the extra time to set up every single step, because you're absolutely right. Because if you have those numbers, that's otherwise you're just shooting in the dark. So
Yeah.
My thought is that you have to try a lot of different things. You can't just assume what you think is a good idea will work. And then you have to keep on trying. Like you also have to not assume that just because it didn't work, that it won't work. It may be a different angle. It may be a different offer, right? Because that's one thing I've learned from doing the TikTok videos and the short videos is I could have a video that does 5,000 views, or I could have one that does 3.5 million views, right? And so it's like, you could think, oh, it doesn't work. TikTok, I don't get traction on TikTok or whatever. But that's not true. It's just you have to try a different angle, a different way of doing videos, a different thing. And that's with everything. And then once you find something that actually is working, now you repeat it and optimize it, and that's it. It's like there's something that will work. There's something that will get people's attention. There's something that will get traction. There was something that will convert people or sell them. Like it exists. So you just have to keep on going until you find one of those things by trying a bunch of different things. And then as you find them, then you basically start utilizing just that, expanding that, and then optimizing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very, very true.
Yep.
Optimize the hell out of stuff.
Yeah. All right, guys. I guess that's it. We'll see you next week.
Yep.